Are you disclosing too much too soon when you first meet somebody? We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about how we disclose information during our dating process. But before we talk about it...
Yes, we're Terrence and Jill of God-ordained union, and we're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to help increase God-ordained unions.
Yes, yes, yes. So if you want to be married, you are on the right channel. If you're single and you're longing for marriage, you've been praying about marriage, we want to just do our part in helping you get to your person. We want to encourage you. We want to share our story with you because we were where you are. We were waiting for a long time. I was 52 when I walked down the aisle.
54 when I watched her walk down the aisle.
I had never been married, never had any biological children, and I thought, it was over for me. But God can do anything. So on this channel, we encourage those who are in the waiting room, and we encourage you, but we also expose the enemy. We let you know that how the enemy operates, and he's cunning. And so if he can make you believe, because he ain't got really no power, he has a false power. But if he can make you believe that you can't get it, he's doing his job. And so on this channel, we expose the enemy, we encourage you, and all that great stuff. Please subscribe, please turn on your notifications, please share our videos, please comment. We'd love to hear from you. We go live every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we do pre-recorded videos like this one every Sunday and Thursdays
at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. We're live chatting in that now. Hey, y'all. We also have a private group that we meet twice a month, every first and third Tuesdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's $11 a month. You can cancel anytime. There's no obligation. What goes on in that group stays in that group. So if you have a situation you want to bring to the group, you got us there. We're going to give our input, our feedback of what we think. You got a whole bunch of other individuals, singles in there who are waiting well, who also, provide their experiences, their feedback. And so it is a great community. We welcome you into the community if you would like to join us. We also have one-on-ones. So if you want to speak with us one-on-one, that is available as well. Also, for the ladies, we just released our ebook. So it is an ebook. What is happening is that we're discovering that there are a lot of women who are out of alignment. We don't mean that you're not perfect or you're not ready for marriage. What it means is that the Word of God says that no good thing will He withhold from you if you walk upright before Him. So the Lord wants to release. He wants to release. It's like He has this nice big blessing of releasing that He wants to do, but you're not in a posture to receive. So you're looking like this. You're looking like this in the spirit realm. And this could be generational curses or generational patterns. It could be things that you're saying out your mouth. You want one thing, but you're speaking and contradicting with your mouth. The totally opposite thing of what you say you want. It could be
generational curses. It can be
unforgiveness.
It can be resentment. It can be
soul ties.
Yes.
Soul ties are big when you're holding on from a past relationship. And so this ebook, it will help you to get back into alignment. Anything else? You can to find out about the ebook, the one-on-ones, the private group. You can go to our website at God-ordained.com, or you can click the links below.
Yes.
All right. So last week we did a video about the things what I desired in a mate in Terrence. Before I met Terrence, what I desired in a mate. And so we released that, and we'll put that video up here at the end of this video. But that was a video. And so one of our subscribers made a comment under that video, and she said, when is it too soon to, talk about our expectations and our preferences? She said, because I'm concerned that if I say it too soon, that he will be performative, meaning that he will adjust to what she want and it not really be what he want, but vice versa. It could be men or women,
Right.
just adjusting just for the sake of, wanting the relationship. And so we thought it was a good idea to talk about this because, it's you could be saying too much too soon. What's your thoughts, baby?
Well, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I believe that there's some things that you can say too fast, but I also believe that there's some things that you should say fast. And we will cover that in this. And I got 4 points that I think will help shed some light in some areas that will help, and some things that you might want to consider before you start the date so you can kind of be prepared for it.
Yeah. Because the other thing is that no one can really tell you when to say,
right, exactly,
when to say what you need to say, because everybody's different. Every situation is different. It's just so unique. But you're right. There's some things that are said too soon and some things that aren't said soon enough. And so, what are they, baby?
Well, the first thing is going to be identity. I think when a person is confused or they haven't accepted their identity, then it just makes it hard for them because they're meeting people that probably are so far away from who they are. But if you tap into your gifts, talents, and skills, and you're living every day in that identity because you accept who you are and you're okay with it, then people that you meet were going to be closely related to that. And in most cases, going to have some sort of grace or some amount of grace for you in those areas. So I think that really tremendously helps out the way you don't even have to sometimes reveal what your identity is or what you do for a living because that's where they met you.
Wow. So accepting your identity really helps with who you attract and how you're positioned. That's so powerful because let's say, for instance, you're a mom and you have children under 12 and you're thinking, when should I disclose to this guy that, I have children? When should I tell him? When should I tell him? Well, if you are 100%, and which you probably are, but if you are totally focused on being a mom and putting your kids in extracurricular activities, it increases your chances to be in environments where you're going to meet maybe a single dad.
Right. Exactly.
And so you won't have to disclose it. You don't have to worry about disclosing that you have children. You wouldn't have to disclose
you met him
it.
at the soccer game.
You met him at the soccer game. Yeah, you're right. So it really, really standing in your truth and who you are. And I see this a lot, even with there's a lot of people who are caring for their elderly parents. It's like, when do I tell him that my mom got to come with us? When do I tell him that my parents got to live with us? When do you? But if you totally are in, you taking that role in your life, and you totally immersed in it, you might be joining other groups, where like support groups where it's for caregivers. We see this also with entrepreneurs. Or when do I tell him that I'm a millionaire? Well, if you met him in a business setting, if you're tapped into your, then you'll be in that environment. So, yep.
So I just believe that when you are living every day, you being true to who you are, there's some things that you may not have to worry about disclosing because if people are out there with you, that they can tell, what it is you think you need to tell them, they've already figured it out. Yeah.
So if you're telling them, like, I really like to travel, I'm a world traveler.
Right. But I met you on ship. So.
Right.
Hello.
Or on the plane.
Yeah. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So things like that can help if people are, aware of their surroundings.
And it's really a spiritual thing. It's really what you exude. If you really step into your gifts, talents, and skills and who you are as a person. I'm a single mom, and I'm really engrossed in this. I am really invested in, being a caregiver for my elderly parents. If you are, I'm in ministry. Right. Oh my God, this is I don't mean to drag this point on, but this is a key. I hear so many, really a lot of celebrities say that, well, he's a pastor. I didn't sign up to be a pastor. Like, that is who he, like.
That's who he was when
that's
you met
who
him.
he was when you met him. And so it's like, when do I tell her that I'm called to ministry? At what point do I tell her that I'm called to ministry? Mm-hmm. And I wonder how she's going to feel about it. So for a lot of these, mm-hmm. they met these women and they met them, which rightfully so. They should meet them not on the title side,
right.
But they should know that you should disclose that.
Yeah.
But if you met her at church, where, you know what I'm saying? So you meet this woman outside of church, mm-hmm. and you develop this, and then when do you disclose that I'm really devoted to my church and I'm about to be the pastor? Like, and so when do you disclose that? But if you met her in church and while you're in ministry, right. You don't have to disclose it because she knows what comes. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So number 2 would be just using wisdom and discernment on when to say something.
Yeah.
And just understanding that, there's going to be times when the time is going to be right to say it. And we just need to have that discernment to be able to do so.
Yeah. It's like when you say, God says you my husband. And it's like you really using wisdom, like when
to not tell them on the first date.
To not tell them on the first date, because this is, or maybe not even in the first 6 months, or maybe not even the first year, because it could really be the one who got, mm-hmm. but because God hadn't told him yet, it could make him run.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, she crazy.
She crazy," and he'll mm-hmm. be back if it was truly God. But it will delay. You just put a delay there because you didn't use wisdom. Right. You just caused this man, you know what I mean? So you got to use wisdom and discernment.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And number 3, have good communication skills, especially listening.
Wow.
Because in listening, that the person that you're with can actually maybe prompt you.
Right.
To say something that says, oh, this is a good time to say that.
Wow.
And that will help tremendously reduce a lot of concerns on when to say something, because in your listening, you're getting prompts every now and then to say, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I could just go. Yeah. So for instance, if he says, I don't know.
For an example, most people take care of their parents at some point, and maybe he's got a parent that's sick or not feeling well, and he brings that up. That would be a good opportunity to bring up something that you may have that could be in the same, the same area mm-hmm. of concern. That mm-hmm. way, one, it lets you know that y'all have something in common.
Yeah, because he could say, like he could say, well, I gotta, my mom is sick and I'm thinking about bringing her to mm-hmm. live with me.
Right.
And you could probably say, I don't know.
Well, I've been, I'm glad you said that, because I'm doing the same thing with my mom or my grandmother, or, I moved back here recently to take care of, but if there's something like that, you can find a good time when just by listening and allowing them to prompt you with something that maybe they said first.
Right. Yeah. It could be also if he prompted that, like with his mom, you could be like, okay, well, just so you know, I just lost my mom, mm-hmm. 6 months ago. And if I feel like, if you don't hear from me in a couple of days, I'm still grieving.
Right.
So you'll know, the listening and knowing when to disclose something, not just arbitrarily, but it's a part of the conversation. Yeah.
And then the last one that I would share with you on this video is understanding timing.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is actually the opposite. Timing, there's some things that you should tell people right away.
Right.
Because it could be life changing or life altering. You know what I mean? So if off the gate, that there's some things that you can or cannot do in a long-term relationship or marriage, you might want to let that person know before there's a emotional connection or something, and they get more invested.
Yeah, a good one for that is like, somebody said, I can't wait to have kids, and the other person said, well, I can't have kids.
Right.
That need to be.
Yeah, that might be something that
you need to tell up as soon as possible.
Especially if y'all, the first date or something, you think y'all feeling each other, and there may be a second date, then you might want to just take the time to say, well, hold on, let's put a pause in it, because there's something I may have to tell you that, that can change what you think about me. And I don't want you to,
it could be anything health related.
Yeah.
Anything health related that has an effect on that will have an effect on the relationship.
Yeah, the quality of relationship.
Yeah. But if you just met somebody and you go into the dentist and you don't like the dentist bill, and sometimes you talk too much. Like it's like, okay, he doesn't need to know you.
Right.
He doesn't need to know you want to get your tooth pulled next week. Like you just met him today. Like that's just like So.
Yeah, so those would actually be the 4 areas that I think you should consider when you're dating, especially at the beginning, to say, this is when I should say this is when I shouldn't say it, just to try to give you in the best position possible for the other person to receive it.
Right.
Yeah.
So how it worked for us, like we said, everybody's different. So just if you know timing, if you got discernment, wisdom, you got good communication skills, or you're improving your communication skills, and you are really, truly like accepted who you are in the position that you're in right now, disclose how the Lord reveals for you to disclose. Yeah. But for us, it wasn't. Some people might say, "Oh, I wouldn't have did it like that." So for us, first of all, it was an immediate attraction for me because I saw him first. There was an attraction immediately. So that happened like the first day one. Terrence's day one
was different from her day one.
Was different because Terrence's day one was a year and a half later. As Terrence he exchanged words with me, but he hadn't necessarily seen me. So, so the attraction was there, day one. But the first 30 days, so the first 30 days, we talked about our non-negotiables, but we didn't talk about our non-negotiables because I had already seen him on a dating site. And so that's one of the reasons why I like dating sites, because your non-negotiables are Shout out to eHarmony, because I don't know if they still do it, but eHarmony used to have you list your non-negotiables and your 5 must-haves. But yeah, so our first 30 days, we were very much talking about our hobbies, what we liked to do. We had no expectations. And the great thing is that in our first 30 days, Terrence had immediately, and this is before we saw each other, Terrence had immediately said he wanted to take it slow. So we had no expectations. We were literally freestyling our conversations. So we were just like talking about hobbies. Yeah. We were just getting to know each other, what we like. And when we found out we had kind of like similar backgrounds, that spun off into different conversations. And so, yeah, it was
nothing heavy to say, right, you had to know this right now.
Right.
It was like time was on our side. We wasn't keeping track of time. We were just enjoying the conversation.
Right. The first 6 months, we started talking about we started observing patterns. I started really observing his patterns. Because at that point he was coming to Raleigh frequently. Like we were, we started talking about goals and desires. That's what Terrence started to say we a little bit more. At that point, I knew I think in our first 6 months, he did mention he would get married again. I knew he was going to get, because he was on a dating site, but he was like, we really went into talking more about him want to be, I'm saying this because he don't remember. What else did we talked about life, current events, because we were going through the pandemic. Yeah. So that had us talking about a lot. We were literally, because it was the pandemic, God is so awesome in how strategic with the timing. Because we were in the pandemic, we literally lived in the moment because we didn't know what the world was going through. Yeah. So
every day somebody was on the news losing family members due to COVID.
I was losing family members, yes, too. And so we were just really, like, really, our conversations were more,
it's like living life to the fullest, because you didn't know if you was going to get some bad news about somebody that day or the very next day.
Or if it was going to hit us. Or
it was that frequent on the news and through phone calls and stuff that either somebody you knew or that person was, sick, having some type of reaction to COVID.
Right. So and then I think in that 6 months we also were really talking about kind of saying but because I wanted a girlfriend,
doing more stuff too that was
we were doing
like more of what we really liked that we had in common. We even went to look at homes.
Yes. So that's what we did.
Into the future.
We started talking about what kind of homes we wanted to live in. Yes. But I still wasn't too, I enjoyed the moment. Yes, that's what we were talking about. When we got engaged, this is where it's a little controversial. So when we got engaged, that's when we start to have more expectations of each other. But when we got engaged, that's when we sat down and start writing out our life plan. Yeah. But that's when we talked about finances. It wasn't until we got engaged. And this is because, social media and everybody else will make you think, oh, you got to know his credit score on the first date. Yeah. That's minor. So let me tell you something. And this wasn't our situation. I think the only financial issue we had was that, not a big old student loan debt. But the mindset, because we knew we were a great team, it didn't matter. We could have had a 400 credit score. You could best believe it. In 1 year, that was about to be fixed because we're a dynamic duo. Like, we didn't let, we didn't let finances rule us. We knew that finances were going to be our first strategy, our first project together. And it was, for us, finances included increasing our income streams. We did more investing. When we got engaged, we got more. That's when we got into crypto, and so we got more into investing. We did, and that's where this is not saying it could be a little controversial because we were engaged doing this stuff, but we knew we were going to get married. But that's when we started really talking about money. We didn't talk about finances in our dating, like before we were engaged. We didn't talk about, he knew I knew he worked. He knew I worked. But we didn't really talk about credit scores or, how much money you got in the bank. We didn't talk about none of that until after we got engaged. Then we also talked about after we got engaged, where we're going to live and all of that. But, we kept those first, we kept it very honest with each other. When we led to those deep conversations, we went there, but it wasn't an expectation, or it wasn't forced, or
it wasn't putting pressure on each other.
It wasn't pressure
for it to be a certain way. It was, well, we can do this or we can do that, or we will, but it wasn't, pressure when it comes to saying, if it ain't this way, then this ain't going to work. Those types of conversations didn't take place.
Right. Yeah. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have, it was after, were we engaged when we took the shot, the COVID shot?
Yes.
We were engaged. Yes, we were engaged.
Yes, we took all the COVID shots together.
We took the COVID shot, and we were sick together. We were in the bed sick together. Yeah. I remember we were in Charlotte. I went to Charlotte to get the shot with you, and we were trying to take care of each other. We both, that shot tore us up. And so, but yeah, we didn't talk about, of course we talk about politics. Those were non-negotiables and stuff. We had talked about those early on, but there were things, it was very organic. Yeah. Our conversations, what we were disclosing was very, very, very organic. Very organic. There was no pressure. There was nothing because to me, nothing is more powerful than love. So there was nothing that he could have told me that would have shocked me, or that would have been like, oh, this is not going to happen.
Yeah. So there are some things that you can say too soon or too much.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that you should say
too soon, but
too soon. So
and you got to know those things.
You just got to know the difference.
Wisdom, discernment, listening, and knowing when the right time. Because you don't want to tell, somebody, you don't want to tell the guy that you really don't want children while he watching the football game. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just really know the timing when to tell stuff, or you don't want to tell, you just got to use wisdom and discernment.
Yeah, because the serious stuff, you want to make sure you got the undivided attention.
Yeah, and then you have to also know your motive of why you are sharing things. Do you want sympathy? Do you want to trigger how he's going to respond to you? Like if I tell him I'm going, I just met him, but I'm going to tell him that I'm going, to have foot surgery. Because, I want to see, if he wants to, because if he don't say he going to pick me up, if he don't take me to the doctor, like maybe he don't need to know you going into having foot surgery. You just met him this week.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Yeah. So I hope this helps. We hope this helps.
Yeah. So, we look so forward to seeing you guys in our next video.
Yes. And we'll put the video up here about the preferences.
Yes.
And what? No, it wasn't preferences. It's what
you
my
wanted.
Desires, not my preferences. Quote unquote, my non-negotiables.
Yes.
About what I desired, and so we'll put that up here. And so so be mindful of what you say.
While you're dating.
All right.
Peace.